Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run.
This is Jan Lewis, and welcome to be my guest today. We have a favorite with our favorite author. One of our many authors is Oliver Akamnonu is back with us. Dr. Oliver Akamnonu. Dr. Akamnonu, Oliver, was an anesthesiologist. Well, you still are an anesthesiologist.
But no longer in practice.
No, until you started writing books, and you have 22 books out now.
Yes.
This is your third time you've been with us.
Yes.
His latest, this is the sweetest thing. That's your wife with grandchild?
Yeah, my grandchild, my grandson.
Not Your America? Question mark?
Yeah.
Boy, is this timely. This is really timely right now. I saw this, I'm like, whoa, this is going to be good. That little grandchild's adorable. Huh? How old now?
2 years, 8 months. 2 years and 8 months.
Your first grandchild?
Yeah. My second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Not Your America. How a family of new Americans grappled with the realities of their beautiful new country, the triumph of love and patience over bigotry and skepticism. And boy, is this timely. Boy, I hear you. This, he says, he had I love this. I thank and greatly appreciate you all, and I hope that along with the thousands and more worldwide who will be reading the following pages and chapters, you'll find relaxation and fulfillment, witnessing the eventual triumph of good over evil and humanity over bigotry.
Sure.
When did you start writing this one?
I actually started writing this book 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Then I interrupted it and wrote 2 other books.
Yeah.
I was wondering whether I should actually continue at a certain stage, because it's a fiction that is actually based on a true story.
Yeah.
And I felt midway that certain chapters might offend some people.
Tough.
Yeah,
Just get it out there.
Yeah, but later I felt again that it was better I put out the story.
Yeah.
But instead of making it as a kind of memoir, I decided to make it as fiction.
Based on the true story.
Based on a true story with no relation to actual places or individuals.
Yeah.
And but telling the story of how a mother and a son, immigrants from a foreign country, from a third world country,
Yep.
Moved into the United States, and then the problems that they had fitting in, the welcome that they had from good-minded people, then how they got into educational facilities.
Yeah.
Then the mother was actually initially, already a doctor.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Then the son came in as a teenage high school student.
Yeah.
And then the story then went on to narrate how they got into the society, how they were received by some and rejected by others,
Right.
and how eventually they were able, through the help of some very, very, very fair-minded and empathetic people,
Yeah.
to fit into the society and overcome the bigotry of the few.
So in other words, what's the word? Assimilated well. They finally
Yes.
got.
Yes.
And how long did it take them to get to that point?
For the mother, it was 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
a couple of years.
Yeah.
For the son, it was a lot longer, because he had to go through college, and then went through the medical school, and eventually became a doctor. Actually, the emphasis is on the good rather than on the evil.
Yes.
But the evil aspect needed to be mentioned,
Yeah.
so that a lesson could be learned from it.
Did you have? What country did you come in from, Oliver?
Nigeria.
You're from Nigeria. Okay.
Nigeria.
Now, did you speak
But-
English when you got here?
English is the first language of Nigeria, because Nigeria was colonized by the British.
Right. Okay. So that's what. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes people ask me, how do you write books when English is not your native language? But I said, look, I got up, I grew up speaking English.
Yeah.
In fact, in the school then, it was an offense, unfortunately,
Yeah.
to speak vernacular They said,
Yeah.
if you spoke your native
Was
language,
it hard though to hard, I mean, we've got so many, I don't want to say swear words, we have so many hyphenated words and all these other things. Was that the tough part to pick up? Because
not really, because from primary school,
yeah.
you spoke English. Fortunately, you spoke your native language at home. So
At home, okay.
yes, unlike here, when people come on,
Tell me about
you know,
it.
especially people from my part of the world.
Yeah.
Many people feel that it is elitist not to know your native language.
Yeah.
But fortunately, some other people from other parts of the world, like people from the Spanish-speaking countries, from Asia, you know,
Yeah.
the little children speak Spanish perfectly.
Yeah.
The Chinese speak Chinese perfectly. But you find that a lot of people from my part of the world,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
They don't.
find that their children growing up without knowing their mother tongue. Some of us are fighting in our own little ways to see how we can revise that. I teach my young grandchildren. I speak to them in the native language.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
So they know
I
both
do.
now.
Well, they pick up the English language faster because
Yeah. They have in school, they're going to have to know
yes,
that.
yes.
All right, now, Not Your America, and that is Oliver's book.
Yeah,
Now,
with
Oliver,
a question mark.
question mark. Chapter 1 was Odyssey for the Promise of America. Now, what was that about?
Yeah, that was the Odyssey. The word speaks for itself. The promise of America. The fascinations that the characters in the book had before coming to America.
Yeah.
That is, some of the fascinations were realistic, others were not. You know, because they saw people come to America, then visit home in high profile.
Yeah. Right.
So the impression created in a lot of places back home then was that it was so easy in the United States. You know, in fact, literally, it was believed in some circles that you just plucked the dollar.
Yeah, I would think it wouldn't be easy coming from Nigeria, just try and just be hit with the United States. I love this. Relocating to the city center. What was that like in the book?
Yes, you know, because when the mother and the son came in, they stayed in the periphery of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Los Angeles. It's not that it's actual. That is, Los Angeles was
Right.
just chosen as a location, but it wasn't the actual location in the story. So in real life. So, but with time, they needed to move to the city center because the mother needed to work, and she worked in the city center, and it was there that the actual experience started.
Yeah.
Because there they had to mix up with people. They had to see a lot of people that many who weren't receptive, many who were suspicious of foreigners, but many more
Yeah.
who were very welcoming.
And then tell everybody what she did. What was her occupation?
Initially, for the young mother, it wasn't. She cooked readily, but for the young son,
Yeah.
for the young son, it wasn't very easy initially. In fact, at a certain time, he got so frustrated that he started asking the mother that they should go back home.
Yeah.
That they should get back home. But with time,
Yeah.
he made friends.
Mm-hmm.
He made friends, and then the more antagonistic people got a little more friendly. With the students, with his fellow students, he had no problems.
Yeah.
But with his lecturers, teachers, most of them were very good.
Yeah.
But two,
Yeah.
you know, this story of one bad apple doesn't spoil the back.
Yeah.
I
The
forgot.
bullying kind.
Yes.
I know over at UMass, for years, in the orthopedic department, I can't think of his name, I believe he was from Nigeria, and he was a doll. People are scared when they're going in to get their casts. He had a big old picture with him with a bucket on his head, and it would brighten up anybody, even the children coming and crying, would see this picture. After many, many years at UMass, I think he retired, I think he went back to Nigeria. We miss him. Oh, he added, I kept telling you add just, but, you know, I mean, you walk in, you see, how often do you see in an orthopedic department the head guy with the cast with a bucket on his head? I mean, it really turns things, you know, the way it should be. Now, you were how many years as an anesthesiologist? How many?
I worked as an anesthesiologist for 9 years
Yeah.
in the public sector, then went private, combined anesthesiology with general practice,
Sure.
with general medical practice.
Yeah.
In fact, I was more of a generalist.
Yeah.
You know, I practiced general medicine for
So-
a longer period of time.
Oh,
than-
so you were a primary care physician too?
You know, yes, that is when I went private. I relocated to a rural area.
Okay.
It's just like somebody starting off in New York City
Yeah.
and then relocating to Upton.
Yeah.
or-
I got it.
yeah.
So did you
So
like it?
in the new place, I happened to have been the only doctor in a wide radius,
Yeah.
and people would come believing that since you're a doctor, you knew everything,
Yeah.
and a lot of times they came in as emergencies.
Yeah.
And you know, just like you know, a case of obstructed liver coming in,
Sure.
and you know that the ambulance services are not as efficient as they
Yeah.
are here.
Yeah, oh yeah, we get them right,
You know,
right away. Yeah.
And they'll come in as late cases, or what we call late cases that were delayed. They'll come in when the woman would almost be getting so
That had to
completely
be so
exhausted.
frustrating
Yes,
for you.
and you knew that if you didn't do something, if you
Quick.
did something,
Yeah.
there were chances that the mother and the baby would survive. But if you did nothing, you might lose one or both.
Exactly. And I bet they didn't have life flight like
Yes.
we have here in
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So you found that you had to do virtually everything.
Yeah.
Well, in the medical school, you are trained to do everything, but then you specialize, and
Specialize.
and luckily there with the housemanship, that is the 1 year mandatory residency program. A lot of us had the opportunity of going through virtually all the departments again, and we weren't specialists, but we could try our hands on a lot of things. And
Yeah.
most times, surprisingly, most of the cases that you handled
Yeah.
succeeded. A few were lost,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Through being primary care or an anesthesiologist.
No, in primary care.
Because anesthesiology.
It wouldn't actually be called primary care, because primary care connotes, gives the impression that you saw the person and then referred. But
Yeah.
in that particular case, that type
You
of
were it.
primary care, you were there. You had to do everything.
Well, as an anesthesiologist, you know, I try to tell my friends, I said, you know, we go into surgery and we think, well, it's all in the doctor's hands. I'm like, I've heard that it's in the anesthesiologist's hands. He's got your life. He had
Yeah.
better be awake and watching right on the thing, everything. Because
True.
really, all it takes is just one major,
Yeah.
and the anesthesiologist, you have the ability to tell the doctor, stop, the surgeon.
Yeah.
Right now we need to stop.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
You see,
that.
the thing is, a lot of times, like we used to say while we were doing residency in anesthesiology, that the patient's life was in your hands on the table,
Yeah.
but the thanks will go to the surgeon after the patient is awake. That the patient came to see that by the time the patient will come in, he or she would be
Yeah.
almost dazed with the pre-med that you gave.
Yeah, sedation, and
Yeah,
then all of a sudden
sedation.
you come in. You have to.
The-
I know every surgeon that I had, the anesthesiologist comes in and talks with you. I love that. That's great. You tell them I don't like this and I like that. You know, I don't want to see the operating room. Just zap me out before I get there, or I want to be all in. I was all awake for 3-hour major surgery on my ankle. I chose to be. I was on my stomach. I had my headset on. I think I was the only one the surgeon ever had who stayed awake. But I was, as long as I don't feel it, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to get back to Oliver's book, is Not Your America. Wonderful story about a family who comes over and tries to assimilate, and does a good job, assimilates into the American custom. Facing the realities and challenges of college work. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, that was for the young son, Ron. The name of the young son in the book is Ron.
Yeah.
Ron, initially it wasn't a sweet experience.
No.
You know, well, he had his fantasies, believing that having arrived in the United States, that all was over for good.
Yeah.
But then, having gotten into the system, he came to realize that it wasn't all rosy.
No.
Not only were the demands of the academic demands very high,
Yeah.
he had to grapple with the realities of living in a society where he was probably the only black student, you know. But most of the students, and in the book, I believe also in real life, were very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good, very receptive.
Yeah.
But then he found that one or two of the teachers seemed to believe that
Yeah.
somehow that the color of his skin
Made a difference.
made a difference, you know, that
No.
somehow that he couldn't measure up to the
But
situation.
he
So
overcame that, though. He overcame it.
yeah, he actually eventually overcame the situation.
Well, Worcester is very diverse. I mean, if you go, let's say, to UMass Medical, it's like the United Nations. Well, I've had doctors who are Chinese, Indian, I don't care if you're black or white, everybody in between, and it's wonderful. I think a lot of us don't see the color. I just want to, are you good at what you do?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, please help me, you know.
In the end, that is what should matter.
Yeah.
You see, it got to a situation where by the time he did very well in college.
Yeah.
Eventually got very high scores in the medical school admission tests.
Yeah.
Got into the medical school. You know, did excellently well. Had a choice of
Specialties.
specialties.
Yeah.
So when it got a climax in the place where a top notch unit where
Yeah.
he went to do his residency,
Yeah.
one of the teachers saw him examining a patient.
Yeah.
You know, clacking a patient.
Getting the data, yeah.
Yeah. And the teacher, that is the attending, they are called attending. The attending saw him from far off and couldn't believe that, because he was the only African American in that amongst all the residents. The attending started asking who that person could be.
Yeah.
And then the nurse told him that that's one of the new residents.
Right.
And then he asked in surprise, a black
Yeah.
in this department? How did he get here?
Never happened now.
How did he get here?
No, yeah. But how
So-
many years ago was that supposed to be?
That was supposed to be surprisingly in the mid 2000s. In the early 2005.
Doesn't make sense.
2009.
Yeah.
2009 to 2012.
I don't get it, because
Yeah.
nowadays they don't. If you're the
Yeah.
best and the brightest, you're going
Yeah.
in, no matter if you're pink.
Yeah. So, but the thing is that particular specialty somehow, either by design or somehow hadn't ever had a black.
Well, now
in
they
that
did.
specialty.
Yeah.
So now they did
Yeah.
with the entrance of Ron.
Yeah.
And it was a big surprise to the attending seeing Ron in that department.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started asking that question, and he asked it so loudly
Yeah.
that Ron had. He wasn't hiding his disgust.
And he was seeing how brilliant Ron was, right? And he was amazed at this. Nowadays, well, from what I see, being near the city and around here, we have people from all over the continent. We have doctors from Arabia, Lebanon, everywhere, Nigeria, everywhere. I know when I go over into UMass, just as a side or whatever, I see some of the most beautiful headdresses with the women. I think of you, and I think they're from Nigeria. The most gorgeous fabrics. I asked them, where did you get your fabric? It's most gorgeous, and the dresses are bright and colorful. Who wouldn't like that?
And appearing a little oversized, because of the heat.
Yeah. I don't know, how do they stay cool in all those clothes? Now, we're talking with Dr. Oliver Akamnonu, and he has written 22 books. This is his latest, Not Your America. How do they get a hold of it?
Yeah, Not Your America.
How would they get a copy of your book?
It's available on Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
It's available. In fact, it's now becoming available. It came out only last month, and it's now available in a lot of bookshops. You know, if you just Google "Not Your America" by Oliver Akamnonu,
yeah.
You know, you find a lot of major bookshops.
How can they reach you? Would you like to give them your email?
Yeah,
spell it out.
Okay. Okay. It's also available through the author through my website droliverAkamnonu.com.
Okay.
Or just Google Oliver Akamnonu.
Spell Akamnonu.
O-A-K-A, A as in apple, K as in king, A as in apple, M as in Mary, N as in Nancy,
yeah.
O as in Oscar, N as in Nancy, U as in Ukraine, A-K-A-M-N-O-N-U. It's jaw breaking.
Say that fast.
Okay, so Oliver Akamnonu, Oliver O-L-I-V-E-R, Akamnonu as A-K-A-M as in Mary,
yeah.
N as in Nancy, O-N-U. Akamnonu, Oliver Akamnonu. In fact, it's because I have written so many books. If you just Google Oliver Akamnonu,
you will definitely.
The website will appear.
Did you bring a spare copy for the library?
We'll have a copy.
Good. Check it out in the Upton Library. There's another good chapter here. I love it. Life in Beaming Grin Medical Clinics.
Yes.
This guy Ron had a rough time just because of his skin color.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Beaming Green Medical Clinics is actually the clinic where Ron's mother worked, also as a doctor.
Yeah.
And he had a very nice time there until there was a change of leadership in the hospital, and the new CEO of the hospital somehow became antagonistic, felt that she didn't belong because of nothing else than
his skin color.
That he came from a place that she shouldn't be there.
And this book is supposed to take place in the early 2000s, but like I said,
surprisingly,
I never see this.
Surprisingly, why I wrote this was because I felt that this is kind of something rare.
Yeah.
You don't see it.
No, it would be forbidden.
You don't see it, especially in Massachusetts. You wouldn't. I'm not saying it to praise Massachusetts.
We're a melting pot, everybody's here.
You wouldn't see it happen in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
But it happens in America.
Oh yeah. We're
happens,
seeing that. Yeah, we are.
And I felt that it was necessary to get out the story.
Mm-hmm. Good timing.
Even if some wouldn't believe it, it happens.
Oh, it does.
But the good thing is that there are more good people than, like it's said in the book. It's only a very small percentage that is still bigots.
Yeah.
Very, very small percentage. But you find that that small percentage is the loudest percentage.
Yeah, they tend to also be the less educated, some of them too.
Unfortunately here,
it wasn't that way though. These were doctors.
That's why we say somewhere that by people, if you read at the back of the book, by people least expected.
Yeah.
By people least expected.
Yeah, you wonder how they grew up. What'd your parents teach you? What the heck is wrong? My parents were extremely open. They would never think to them.
You see, when you tell the story you're telling the story in Massachusetts, it will be difficult to believe.
Yeah.
But in the larger American society, you find that there are people who still are living in the past.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I got it.
And this book was actually written to encourage those who are good.
Yeah.
To encourage them to continue to be good, to continue to be inclusive.
Right.
Because it's only in an inclusive society that you can see progress.
Right.
Nobody ever knows it all. And when the good thing I find in my 13, 14 years in the United States,
Right.
and as a citizen of the United States, is that America is a melting pot.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
and you get the best when you allow the best to come in.
Like if I was going to have surgery and you came and you were the anesthesiologist, you're so quick and talkative. You have a great sense of humor. I'd be like, I'm fine. You know, you seem like you know what you're doing. Now, on the back is an adorable picture of you and a girl grandchild. So you have
Yeah.
a girl and a boy grandchild.
Yes, yes.
You have published more than 20 books in the USA and the United Kingdom. Among his books is a widely read Arranged Marriage and the Vanishing Roots,
Yeah.
The Pagan's Medals, we talked about that, and you live with, we won't say, you're in Massachusetts, 4 adult children. Now, one of his adult children is with us right now in the audience gallery. She is going to be a dentist.
Yeah.
And your other
She's
children?
actually already a dentist, but she's going to be a specialist pediatric dentist.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
we need that. I remember my son going to a dentist and he freaked out. Now, your wife is a dentist.
Yes.
What about your other 3 children? What are they doing?
In fact, it's a family of doctors. All 6 of us are doctors.
Yeah.
The other 3 boys, I have 4 children. 3 boys and 1 girl, and the girl is a dentist, and the 3 boys are all doctors.
All
But-
doctors.
But in different specialties.
You did something right, let me tell you. You also got very lucky. In this day and age, your kids are, well, they're like 30-ish, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So for them
Yeah,
nowadays, to know what they really want to do, you are one lucky person. Let me tell you. I haven't seen it in a lot of people. All right. Before we leave, relief at last from den of depression. Tell us what that one.
Yes. Relief from the den of depression. The mother of Ron eventually felt that it wasn't worth the while having to continue to stay in that
Right.
place, even though that there were people who were very good, who were encouraging her.
Right.
But she felt that she would no longer put in her best.
That's depressing too.
Yes. So eventually she eased herself out. In fact, they helped her ease herself out.
She went out, yeah.
Yes.
She went back home, didn't she? Well, back to...
No. So of course, some other institution immediately
gotten
grabbed
that
her
part
because
yet. Okay.
she was highly qualified and
All right.
she had the experience.
Yeah.
But somehow, the new administration in the old place didn't quite
Yeah.
feel that she belonged there. Not out of
Nuttiness, absolutely.
not out of any.
Crazy, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you walked over to one of our hospitals these days and say, "Hey, I'd like to, resume my my anesthesiologist career," fine. The more, the merrier. And you and your family, they all have like top grades. I mean, you had to have A's, like straight A's through med school and all this type of thing.
Yeah, somehow. Yes.
And look at this, you didn't even have any idea you were going to be an author, right? You had no, you've dropped out, you decided to stop doing the doctor thing, and you've been writing.
Yeah, actually, I wrote 2 books in the medical school, but I didn't publish them.
I haven't seen them.
Yeah,
What were they called?
they are not yet. Actually, they are not yet published.
In medical school.
I have about 6 books that are
How
not
did
yet
you have the
published.
time in med school to write a book?
The first one was a book that of prayers and poetry. Prayers, because I was always afraid that I was
You're a
failing.
poet too?
Yeah, I write Rap to Mass, which won an award, World Poetry Prize Award, is actually a book of poetry. Rap to Mass, R-A-P-T-O, to Mass,
Yeah.
M-A-R. I'm more, somehow, more into writing than into...
Keep it up, you're doing good. Now, there's another one on the horizon. Do you know the name of it yet?
I have multiple titles
Your dog's going.
for each of the books until the final time. Then I select one.
Then
of
you
them.
select a title.
Yeah.
When will the next one be out?
It might take up to 6 months. It might take up to 6 months because
You're kind of a busy guy. Is that what you do? We've been talking with Dr. Oliver Akamnonu, and he's been with us. This is his 3rd time. And again, his book is Not Your America, about the experience of people who immigrated from Nigeria or wherever,
Yeah.
and they had a hard time just because of skin color assimilating, because a couple bigots stood in the way, and which is ridiculous. So pick up a copy of this. Also, you can go downstairs, catch a copy down in the Upton Library. Excellent. Now I expect to see you in 6 months with the next one, right? You folks live in the western part of the state, right?
Yeah.
Are you in
Western
West Brookfield?
Massachusetts.
West Brookfield?
No, South Hadley.
Okay, well, you're not far from Wilbraham, where I grew up. Kinda?
Where
No.
I don't know how far from Wilbraham, but we're,
Palmer,
we're
Longmeadow.
11, 12 minutes from Springfield.
Oh, okay, well, I was about 5 minutes from Springfield.
Oh, okay. Oh,
mean,
that's
there's-
Wilbraham. Oh, what, no?
Wilbraham is right near Springfield. That was our big city back
Yes.
then. And then you've got Longmeadow, Palmer.
Yeah, I see something ice cream.
Friendly Ice Cream, that's my
Yeah.
hometown.
Yeah. Okay.
Very definitely. Yeah. We went over there. Have you gone there?
No, I haven't. I see it on the highway. I see it on the freeway.
Well, you gotta go.
Something.
Oh, that's our tradition.
It's welcome to Wilbraham. The
Home of friendly
home
ice cream.
of friendly ice cream. Yeah.
It's very friendly ice cream, too. Thank you, Oliver, for being
Thank
with
you
us.
so much, Jen.
We'll
Thank
see him
you
again.
so much.
We'll see you
Thank
next time
you.
and be my guest.
Thank you.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream.